All right. So thinking about this a little bit, I guess maybe what's happening is despite the fact that we're creating the tweens outside of this node, and we're not binding the tween to this node, maybe because the only references to the tweens are held by this node, it gets garbage collected and just goes away. Maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. How can we test that? How can we quickly test that? I wonder... So we have this dictionary of active tweens. If we just stuff a reference to it in our parent, actually we'd have to go further. Our parent's parent. In fact, let's not even bother. Like, this is just temporary to prove the concept, right? This will break something. So the parent's parent of the scrap is... Okay, first of all, let's stop the game. Like, if we're in the scenario, the parent of the component is the scrap scene. Oh, that's probably why... Right, because the whole the scene that we're in, the scrap box scene, is what we're attaching the tween to. Is that what's going on? Anyway, so but the parent of that is just the scenario. So unfortunately, like, there's gonna be an issue if we stuff our reference to active tweens into here. Okay, let's not do that yet. I suspect that's the issue, though, is that some garbage collection stuff is going on, maybe. But let's switch. So we can test something else, though, right? So now we've switched back to getting the tree, the scene tree. And creating the tween on it. Let's see what difference that makes, if any. This is with us not binding the callback for cleaning up the label to the label. Okay, that's still broken. And we're still not seeing YYY in the output, which is what we were printing here on tween finished. So that is never getting executed. So I think the other thing, so when we take damage, we emit died. Right, on health died, Q free. If we didn't do this, just trying to make sure that I'm not trying to, like, I'm building a box around what the issue is, right? So I think that removing the idea of this... Nope, still broken. We still... Oh, right, of course. But we are seeing YYY, right? We are seeing that, right? So I think that... Let's roll back some changes here. There we go. So we do that. and we rerun this, and things will work properly. Because the issue is that the scrap box scene that is in the scene tree gets deleted. Right? And if it doesn't get deleted, then everything works. So I think, yeah, I'm fairly sure that what we need to do is we need to move the ownership of the tweens and really just probably the number pool and the active tweens into like a singleton, into an AutoLoad. We're using finish displaying. Do we need to? So if we do that, then we don't need this exit tree. We don't need to worry about us cleaning up the number pool or any of those things. And then the pool becomes actually shared amongst all things that would show numbers, so that we can more quickly recycle labels when we hit the max, right? And the max would be shared across all things that use this component. So I think we're going to do that. So we're going to make a new AutoLoad. And so our strategy for that is to put them somewhere. Common, config, entities, stages, utilities. Yeah, looks like it. So this will be damage numbers manager, or I mean, it's called damage numbers. It does positive things too, right? It shows like scrap collected. It's the I don't want to call it numbers manager. I guess I will go with a slightly inaccurate name just for the sake of moving on. Spent a bit of time on this already. GD. Okay, so class name is systems, damage numbers managers, extends node, maybe? What do we do with achievements manager, for instance? It does extend node. We can't give this a class name if this is going to be an AutoLoad. So we don't do that. We are going to give this some methods. And we're going to move these things to here, to here. And then what else do we need to do? Okay, so in display number, we get or create label. I think get or create label might need to move. Okay, return label, create label. I don't know. Well, let's do this. So I think at least these methods can move over into here. Let's think about this. So max pool size is definitely something that needs to be set here. It doesn't make sense for it to be an export though, so we're gonna change this to be const. Oops. F2 max pool size. Okay. So we have some options, right? So we could... I think we'll go with the simpler thing right now, which is that we'll make this less configurable. What is by just moving this to be inside of the manager? Another option would be to like have the configuration in the component and have it pass through a configuration to the manager when it's requesting a label. So we get rid of this export, and then we make this a const, and we F2 font size. Okay, so now there's no complaints here, and fixed size pixels is not used, so we'll just remove that. What else is broken? Many things are going to be broken. Boop, boop, boop. It's interesting. So what? Oh, I see we get a position. I feel like this logic should be in the manager, but it's fine. Maybe we'll have other things that will reuse the same pool, right? So we don't want it to be too specific. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so now get or create label. So one thing we do need to do is we need to go into Godot, project settings, globals. We're going to add our utilities, systems, DamageNumbersManager to here. Okay. And that's going to mean that when we're here, we're going to do DamageNumbersManager.get or create label, which is what we're going to rename this to. Oh, I see. Can we just do like plus equals? Is that a thing? Label.font size. And we get rid of that. Okay, and then this logic of kill any existing tween for this label shouldn't happen here. In fact, I mean, we can do... Yeah, definitely that shouldn't live there. That should happen inside of get or create label. So if we do end up creating a label, no, if we label in and not visible. Okay, so we're already doing all that. So that was redundant anyway, that logic. All right, so then what we want to do is we want to take this logic and this callback, and we're going to move this to the DamageNumbersManager, right? So we're going to move this here. I don't think we need to worry about finish displaying anymore. So we're just going to get rid of the whole signal. then what we want to do is we want to give the tween that we create to the DamageNumbersManager. Like, we'll create it, and then we'll create it on the tree, and we will then give it to DamageNumbersManager dot set or add tween, something like that, right? And so then that's just going to be that, right? Right. And this actually boils down what we're trying to do here. We're having, this is a lifecycle manager for these labels that are like billboard labels that will have some kind of tween on them. So this could be like a label lifecycle manager or something. Naming things is hard. All right, so we don't need the signal anymore for exit tree. In fact, we don't need any of this anymore. Yeah, no, we don't need any of that anymore. Okay. Great. So, let us reload the project and then see if this works. What do you think is unsaved, game? Godot. The project? Oh, right, because I did change the AutoLoads, right? So that was unsaved, technically. Okay, so let's run. Start game. Click, click, click. Okay, and then moment of truth in scrap.gd, we switch this back to delete ourselves when we run out of health. What happens? Boop, boop, boop. Yay! All right, we fixed it. All right, I'm happy. Okay, so what did we do? All of these things. So to be fair to Copilot, to be fair to this statistical model that generated code for me, the first iteration of this did actually create a manager AutoLoad singleton, but it tried to put everything in there, and so didn't have the components part of this to actually tie into things. And then I was like, well, you should follow the pattern of doing this, and it completely abandoned the idea of having the AutoLoad and the shared pool, instead putting a pool on each component. And I was wanting to see, how that would work, but apparently, I'm pretty sure what's going on is that the tweens were getting garbage collected when their only reference to them went out of scope. I'm intuiting that's what's happening, because now that we're putting it into that AutoLoad that has a global reference, and there's a reference to the tweens that outlasts the existence of the nodes, it continues to work. So the problem sometimes with these comments is that they're like, add visual damage feedback system with okay, so but that's not what we did here. That already existed. What we did was refactor to use a shared pool for tweens and labels to prevent garbage collection from breaking tweens. Well, at least that's my theory as to what's going on. We didn't implement component damage numbers. That already existed prior to this commit. We did introduce DamageNumberManager. We integrated damage number display in the scrap component. Scrap scene. Updated a little bit. Okay, so we'll commit all of this as a brief review, right? So here's our new AutoLoad. We changed things to use floats instead of ints. We moved some things to the damage numbers manager, which cleaned this up quite a bit. We updated health to switch to floats mainly, and then we rearranged some things, right? So we moved damage numbers as a member variable on the health class here, rather than looking it up dynamically every time we need it. Similar things here and here and here. We updated the scene to use damage numbers, right? So that was like one of the first things. Is none of this worked because we were not actually using the damage numbers component as a node in the scene tree of the enemy or the scrap. Shooting obstacles, we got rid of, removed the concept of detection range. In fact, what I want to do is let's stage all of these things, and then shooting obstacles specifically, we should remove this from the commit, right? Because that's a separate thing that we did as kind of a bug fix. But I think everything else really goes together, so I'll commit that, and then we'll have a separate commit for the change to shooting obstacle. To remove detection range. And we'll push that all up to our branch. And finally, getting back to GitHub, we shall merge this. All right. All right, and we have one more pull request to review. So, admittedly, I have been kind of accumulating these for a while and not found the time to review these and check for quality and make sure that it actually works and holds together. So we're doing that today, which is good, just because otherwise it's never going to get merged and it's going to get crufty like those other pull requests that I never got around to and was not happy with. So this pull request implements an aspect of the game that I was thinking about a number of weeks ago, which is that we have both, and maybe I've talked about this on stream before, but we have both this idea of XP and leveling up, which allows you to unlock things in the tech tree. And we have the idea of scrap. And scrap is something you accumulate as you play, either by defeating zombies or collecting scrap boxes like we were doing. And that allows you to build defenses and offenses. I guess if they're fixed like turrets and other things like that, they're still defenses, right? We're not building tanks here. Anyway, but you build those things with scrap, right? So, given that, why have both? What is the relation between them? And one of the things I was thinking about in terms of not wanting to break the game is that the XP should be something you can carry with you. Brainless, hello. Good morning.
Brainless Society just got here first and is awesome.
So XP is something you accumulate. Scrap is something, oops, touch the microphone. And scrap is something you can earn in each scenario and then goes away. But it feels bad, right? If you if you accumulate a bunch of scrap and you build defenses, or and your defenses are untouched, or maybe you save up the scrap, you don't get anything from being conservative with your use of resources. So what I want to do is we already had the concept of in the game. And how you doing? How's your vacation, Brainless? Seeing cool things? It was a cruise, right? You were saying something about having seeing a volcano. But we already had the concept in the game of like you could reclaim obstacles and you get an amount of scrap based on how damaged the obstacle is. So, but then you have to remember to do that. So instead of doing that, toss that all out the window and instead say, when you complete the scenario, all of your existing defenses are reclaimed, turned into scrap, and then the scrap is converted into XP, right? And then that XP allows you to level up to unlock more tech. And Brainless, you were saying, still mostly working. Naughty, naughty. Oh, the cruise is next year. Oh, okay. Right now, just the town on the south. Okay, that's right. I see. I somehow like merged those together. I understand. Well, nonetheless, I hope you can find some time away from work because that's the point of a vacation. Anyway, as I sit here on my vacation, is this work? I'm expending energy. Anyway, let's see. Does this work? You were wrapping up a very interesting and complex change, and today was putting up a PR for the architecture review. Okay. Very well. Very well. I think we need to rebase this if we can. We can. All right, great. We're going to try this branch out. That's basically what I've been doing on stream today. Is just pulling down all of these AI pull requests that I have had some hand in, and testing to see if they work and what fixes they need. Because it'd be a shame to just like, you know, have useful code and not do anything with it. So here we are. Project, reload current project. All right. Okay, cool. So if we run this, we're gonna play the first scenario. The problem is that it's actually very hard right now, this scenario. Okay, so one of the things this pull request adds is a game over, like a stats screen. So we lasted for 6 seconds. We reclaimed one obstacle. Is that true? I guess. Oh yeah. Because we placed the boxes and it got reclaimed automatically, right? So we got 10 scrap back from that because the boxes cost 10 scrap. Remaining scrap. Oh right. So we've been carrying over scrap from scenario to scenario till this point. So we had a bunch of scrap, right? So now that's been converted to XP. I don't know. Is that supposed to be sparkles? It didn't really come through. Converted XP. Current level 64. Return to main menu. Start game. Okay. Oops, we broke things. Invalid access to property or key visible on base object to type previously freed. Okay. Interesting. DamageNumbersManager. I literally just worked on this. DamageNumbersManager. What's that? 24. Okay. So we have a label in the number pool, but the label is no longer, it's been freed. So that's not great. Um, deactivate number. Are we freeing labels? On tween finished. Deactivate number. So we erase the label from active tweens, but we still have a reference to the label in the number pool. Let's trace through this, right? So if number pool size is less than max pool size, then we create a new label and we append it to the number pool, right? So we should always have a reference to the label, so it shouldn't be garbage collected. If we have a label that's not visible, we can return it if we have one in the number pool. And yeah. And we create the label. So how is it that the label that we get from the number pool was previously freed? Number pool has one element and it's null. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just like if not is instance valid, label, continue. Maybe that's what we should do. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, please have some scrap. There we go. Give me some scrap. Let's see if we can stop the zombie. Stop, zombie. Stop. Sadly, that's going to be really hard. This is a very hard level presently. Yeah. Okay, so survival time. We lasted for 34 seconds. Obstacles reclaimed 1. Is that one tower that I had left. So we got 10 scrap from that. Remaining scrap. So this is wrong. What's up with this? Right, so start game, play. Yeah, we have 100 scrap. Let's figure this out. We can go faster. We can die faster. There we go. Okay, so now remaining scrap 100 converted to XP plus 50. Okay, return to main menu. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, we spent scrap. We got scrap reclaimed. So this one is possible by the nature of the fact that the survivor is immortal. Has so many hit points that doesn't even matter. But we have no scrap, so let's get some free scrap here. We want 4 because this is going to give us our overchargers that will let the turrets do more damage, and then we put in some turrets here. I think we are now out of range. Yeah, let's add some range amplifiers. There we go. Kill those zombies. More damage, please. And we're done. Okay, scenario complete. Ta-da! Completion time. 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Was that 4 minutes? Obstacles reclaimed 30. So we placed 36 things. Those all got reclaimed. We got scrap back from them. We had a bunch of scrap. Those all got converted to XP. We are leveling up, right? So level 67. So that is working. 67. So when we start this, we are level 67, but we're back down to 100 scrap, right? And the idea being... Okay, so... 5681. 5681. $57.31. So gaining 58. Okay, so the XP value is carrying forward even when you lose. Do I want that? I think it's fine for now. I think it was a much bigger deal when you were carrying scrap forward. At least this way you can make progress. You can make forward progress even if you don't survive the scenario. But we should definitely, and I do think there's something in the backlog to survive bonus extra XP. Okay, so no. There should be bonus XP for scenario victory. We'll put that here in phase 2 somewhere. Oh, we fixed this. We pushed the fix for this into main at the beginning of the stream. Okay, great. So overall, though, I think this seems to be doing what we want. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and merge this. All right, so now we just have the 2 old pull requests. One for a Fog of War system, which I don't know if I even want, honestly. And then add child component-based attack effects system with simplified configuration. The idea with this was to have a component that you can drop in that would provide, so like when things can take damage and we have an effect, like the zombie will shake when it takes damage, but we don't have effects for zombies or turrets attacking things. Like we don't have like a any visible effect of that happening, and so the idea was to do something about that. But this became, see, I left a comment here. It doesn't actually work. I think my thoughts was to actually build the effect, build the visual, and then figure out how to incorporate that into the architecture. So we'll do that at some point. It's just not the most important thing right now. So I think it's about time for lunch. Which, it's what it is. Gotta pull myself away from this. But next week we should. So I'll be streaming tomorrow morning. We're gonna be working on some web dev, some like stream tooling stuff. Getting back to that tomorrow morning and the next. Tomorrow night, I think we'll continue to play some more Whisker Wood. And then there'll be additional streams every day until New Year's. It's working out pretty well. I think the Wednesday streams, the morning and evening streams, are kind of the hardest to do double streams, but we'll keep it up till I can't anymore. But yeah, okay, so next Sunday, we'll come back to game dev. I probably will have made some progress in some of these things in between now and then, but I'll leave some stuff to do on stream. Maybe I'll find some time to finish the custom font, and I can show that off. It's not... I'll show the progress so far. Let me pull up Inkscape really quick. It's just kind of tedious. And I have the feeling that once I get it all said and done and pull it into the font tool, I'm going to need to come back and do things, right? So we have a lot of the letters. It's the ones that are not that are locked that are done, right? So we don't have W yet, or U or T. Q or P, so we're a little bit more than halfway done on this, and the idea was to take this the font from this little piece of AI generated artwork and turn it into a proper font and tweak it. And I liked the feel of it. I think I will need to, once I get all the letters done, go back and maybe tweak and adjust and make it all feel kind of part of the same thing. One of the things I did, because of course not all the letters in the alphabet, and we haven't even touched on numbers, but the letters from this are different sizes. So like the preparation for this was to make reference images that are roughly the same size characters here on this line. And then the characters that don't appear in this, I found like the closest existing font that I could to this, and I have as a reference, so that I'm using this is part of what's left to do, except that I've done Y and Z already and X, so I think we're just working through these remaining ones up to W. And then we have that tool that I mentioned on stream before. I forget the name of it. It's like FontForge, that takes the SVG from this and can convert it into like a TTF file, which would be really cool. But yeah, so hopefully more to share on that. That's something. It's definitely a watching a stream, and I get my tablet out and work on it a little bit sort of thing. It's boring. Yeah. Anyway. We're gonna find someone to raid though, because I want to see about getting some lunch. So I'll say, first of all, switch over to the scene and say thanks so much for coming out to the stream today. However long you were here, it's appreciated.